All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready to dive in? Today, we're tackling construction contracts.
Buckle up.
You might think they're, well, a little dry,
Yeah, not exactly a page turner.
but trust us on this one.
This stuff gets surprisingly interesting.
We're about to uncover how these agreements, these standard contract forms, are really the backbone, the foundation of how things get built, from skyscrapers to sidewalks.
It's like we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at this massive industry, right? I mean, you'd be amazed how much goes into these contracts.
Absolutely. And our source today really emphasizes this point. There isn't just like some minor paperwork, right? These contracts, they're the foundation, the rule book for everything. Buildings, bridges, you name it.
Right, it's all about having this clear set of rules, this
Yeah.
shared understanding that everyone involved can rely on and knows what to expect.
And something that really stood out to me was this whole idea of standard form contracts.
Yeah.
This idea that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. So why are these standard forms so important? Wouldn't it be more flexible to just like start from scratch with a brand new contract for every project?
Well, you'd think so, right? But imagine the chaos. I mean, these standard forms have been tested and refined over years, even decades.
Yeah, they've been through it all.
Exactly. And there's a good reason for that. Let's say, for example, take the case of Smith versus Jones construction back in '98. They had this seemingly minor ambiguity in their payment terms, and it ended up costing them millions. Not to mention the months of delays. Yeah, that case, among others, really highlighted the need for crystal clear language around payment terms. And that's why you see such specific clauses in the standard forms we use today, to avoid those costly misunderstandings.
So it's like each clause, each phrase has this whole story behind it, like a real world lesson learned, which makes a lot of sense, especially in an industry where so much is at stake, right?
Absolutely. And that's just one example. These forms, they help minimize risk for everybody. Everyone knows exactly where they stand, what's expected of them, and what happens if something goes wrong.
Right. It's all right there in black and white.
Exactly. And let's not forget, using standardized forms saves everyone an incredible amount of time and money because they don't have to start from scratch every time.
Time is money, as they say. Now, our source keeps mentioning this group, the Canadian Construction Documents Committee.
CCDC, for sure.
CCDC, there it is. Sounds pretty official. So who are these guys?
Think of them as the all-star team, the dream team of construction contract gurus. They're the ones who develop and update these standard forms, and it's a surprisingly collaborative process.
Really?
Oh yeah, they gather input from everyone involved. Architects, engineers, lawyers, contractors, the whole game, to make sure these forms are balanced and fair.
Wow. So they really do represent this consensus from across the entire industry. That's impressive.
It really is, and it just highlights how important these documents are. They're not just pulling them out of thin air.
Right. They're not just like riffing it.
No. Each clause, each word even, is carefully considered and debated to ensure it reflects the realities of the construction world.
Yeah, they really thought of everything.
They try to.
Okay, so we've established these standard forms. They're vital. But looking at the source material, I see a whole bunch of different CCDC contracts.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like they have a form for everything.
They really do. Because no two projects are exactly alike, right?
Right.
So, for instance, you've got some projects that operate on a fixed price basis.
Okay.
Also known as a stipulated price contract,
Gotcha.
where the total cost is agreed upon upfront.
Makes sense.
That's common for projects with very well-defined scopes of work where you know exactly what you're getting into from the get-go.
Right. But what about those projects where things are a bit more, unpredictable, where the scope might change along the way?
Ah, well, that's where a cost-plus contract comes in.
Right.
Sometimes called a cost-reimbursable contract.
Gotcha.
And this type of agreement, it allows for adjustments to the price based on the actual costs incurred, you see. So it's a bit more flexible.
So you see these used often in situations where the design maybe is a little bit more fluid, like might evolve during the construction process,
Exactly, you're getting it.
like a design build project.
Bingo. Design build is like the textbook example. It's a project delivery method where the design and construction phases are combined under one contract, often with a single entity responsible for both.
Wow, so this is definitely more complex than I initially realized. We've gone from thinking contracts are just like boring paperwork to understanding that they're these dynamic tools that are constantly evolving to meet the needs, the demands of this really complex industry.
And we've only scratched the surface. Each CCDC contract, from the CCDC, that's the stipulated price contract, to the CCDC 17, the design build contract, they each have their own quirks and implications that they're worth exploring.
Absolutely. So it really gets you thinking, right? If you were about to embark on this major construction project, maybe your dream home, which contract type would you feel most comfortable with? Let us know what you think, what makes you feel secure. Over on social media, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep on learning.